Welcome back to That's Life with John Carver. This is episode number 416. And I called this episode, It Must Be Untrue. Well, there's a David Foster Wallace speech in which he says, quote, "There are these two young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, 'Morning, boys, how's the water?' And the two young fish swim on for a little bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, 'What is water?' Unquote. Now, it's obvious in the story I just shared that the older fish knows what life is like outside of the water, right? Well, David Foster Wallace continues, quote, "It's blind certainty, a closed-mindedness that amounts to an imprisonment so total that the prisoner doesn't even know he's locked up," unquote. So the template, if you will, or the glasses by which you see life impacts everything you do. If all you have ever known is all you have ever known, and then something else must be untrue, in quotes, right? Because what you think you know must be true. Well, it's probably or possibly not true. What if all you've ever known is a result of you not being able to or not choosing to see what's beyond all you have ever known? You see, when a society chooses to limit information for the purposes of control, freedom and knowledge cannot exist. When a society chooses to limit information for the purposes of control, facts are buried. When a society chooses to limit information for the purposes of control, manipulation becomes the standard. When a society chooses to limit information for the purposes of control, those who speak truth are silenced. When a society chooses to limit information for the purposes of control, truth cannot be uncovered as it will expose the puppet masters. We look around the world and see societies and mock many of them for the horrific way they live, but many of us rarely consider looking at our own society and culture and see the limiting of information for the purposes of control and how it's been impacting generations of Americans. The delusion of what we think is true will, in time, lead to a life that's wasted. Let me say it again. The delusion of what we think is true will, in time, lead us to a life that's wasted. So if and when you choose to experience life and information beyond your, quote, element, everything changes for you. I mean, everything. Don't believe everything you hear and see. Do the hard work to discover truth. It will require you, by the way, to suspend all that you've thought was true in your life. I'll say it again. It will require you to suspend all that you have thought was true in your life. Have the courage to get out of the water, because there's information that you could not have imagined while, quote, swimming in the water for your entire life. Check your default settings, as you might be missing out on a world that you never knew existed. Look around. You've been in the water your entire life. So what are you going to do now? It's your choice. My name is John Carver. Thanks for watching.